Good morning, students. Welcome back in your SS class. Student, we have started second chapter of history, that is nationalism in India. So in that video lecture, means in the previous video lecture, I have told you the meaning of the nationalism. So next thing, I have told you that in 1915, Mahatma Gandhi came in India and he started three main important, you can say that, three important movements. And by these three important movements, he became famous in all over India. Means people came to know that there was a figure of Indian national movement, that was Mahatma Gandhi. So let's start the further things here. Now, student, Mahatma Gandhi organized just only three small movements, and he wanted that there must be a mass movement so that they can get the suffrage. He wanted this thing. So Rolex Act 1919. First of all, let's think about it. What was Rolex Act and why it was passed and why people protested against it. So if we think about Rolex Act, this act was passed by the Imperial Legislative Council in 1919. This act was passed by the Imperial Legislative Council in 1919. My dear student, this act was passed in a very hurried manner. Even the member of the Indian who were the member of this council, they protested against it. But the Imperial Legislative Council, means the member of the English, who are the member of the English in the Imperial Legislative Council, they passed this law. Even the Indian member protest against it. जो इंडियन मेंबर थे उन्होंने उसके खिलाफ प्रोटेस्ट भी किया. उसके बावजूद भी जो इंपीरियल लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल थी उसने क्या किया, 1919 में ये एक्ट पास कर दिया था. नाउ एक्ट क्या है इसको देख लेते हैं. According to this act, it gave the enormous powers to the government to repress the political activist. It means that it gave the enormous power. Means ये पुलिस को enormous power दे देती है कि वो political activities को दबा सके, political activities को रोक सके. जो भी leader protest करते हैं उनको रोक सके. So that's why it gave the enormous powers to the government to repress the political activities. It allowed the detention of the political prisoners without any trial for 2 years. Under this act, under the Rolex Act, अगर even just only अगर पुलिस को डाउट होता है कि पर्टिकुलर ये पर्सन पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविस्ट हो सकता है तो दे अरेस्टेड हिम, वो उसे अरेस्ट कर लेते हैं एंड विदाउट एनी ट्रायल, मींस जज के सामने पेश किए बगैर ही उसे 2 साल के लिए जेल में डाल दिया जाता है. ही वाज पुट इन जेल फॉर 2 years without any fair trial. So that's why this act was not a good act. इसीलिए हर जगह पर इसका प्रोटेस्ट किया गया. So student, this is the Rolex Act. This was passed by the Imperial Legislative Council in 1919. Even the member of the Indian member of the Legislative Council, they protested against it, but the English member, they passed it in a very hurried manner, which and according to this act, it gave the enormous power to the government and you can say the police to arrest any political prisoners just only basis on the doubt, and they can put him in jail without any fair trial for the 2 years. This was the Rolex Act, and this act it was known as the Black Act. इस एक्ट को एक काला कानून भी कहा गया है, तो इसीलिए इसको रोलेक्स एक्ट कहा गया है. तो इसके अगेंस्ट क्या होता है, इसके अगेंस्ट प्रोटेस्ट होता है. सो लेट्स थिंक अबाउट अ नेशन वाइड सत्याग्रह अगेंस्ट रोलेक्स. मींस क्या था जो सत्याग्रह है, जो मींस क्या कौन सा सत्याग्रह रोलेक्स एक्ट के खिलाफ किया गया. नाउ व्हेनेवर Indian people protested against anything, they always do rallies. So rallies were organized at that time, and if you think about workers, they went on strike. Next important point, shops were closed. This was the methods how people protested against government. First of all, rallies were organized where the Rolex Act, means this act was protested. Second thing, workers, they went on strike. Next one is shops were closed. So situation became out of control. That's why on April 10, police fired in public. Means जो पुलिस थी उसने openly public में fire कर दी, and in this firing many people were killed. जब बहुत सारे व्यक्ति मारे गए, then people became aggressive and they started to attack on banks, post office, railway station, whatever the government buildings, हर एक बिल्डिंग के ऊपर उन्होंने क्या किया, अटैक करना शुरू कर दिया. So due to these situations, government imposed martial law in Amritsar. This is the most important point because this act create martial law. It was imposed in Amritsar, and due to this thing, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre it was happened. What was Jallianwala Bagh massacre? We will discuss further in this video. So first of all, let's again recap this thing that when government passed this Rolex Act. So according to this act, people were arrested and they were started to put in jail without just only based on the doubt, without any proof. They were just only basis of the doubt. They were put in jail. So that's why people protested against them. Means इस act के खिलाफ people ने protest करना शुरू कर दिया. Rallies were organized. Workers even they went on strikes also. Even shops were also closed. That's why on 10th April, police fired on public, openly fired, right? So in this firing, many people were killed. When many people were killed, people became aggressive and they started to attack on public buildings, like on the government buildings, like banks, post office, railway station, etc. So due to these things, the government imposed martial law in Amritsar. And due to this martial law, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, this incident was happened. So first of all, let's study what is martial law. What is martial law? If you think about martial law, this martial law, it was imposed under the leadership of General Dyer. Means General Dyer जो था वो इस martial law का head था, and this was imposed by, you can say imposed in Amritsar. According to the martial law, army control would be there in place of the local police. Means अगर हम बात करते हैं किसी भी एरिया के अंदर अगर न्यूसेंस को कंट्रोल करना है, अगर आपको ऑर्डर मेंटेन करना है, अगर आपको अनार्की रोकनी है, तो लोकल जो पुलिस है वो हमेशा उसके अंदर काम करती है. किसी भी प्रकार का क्राइम जो होता है उस क्राइम को रोकने के लिए लोकल पीपल जो पुलिस होती है वो उसमें काम करती है. But according to the martial law, now this control it is shifted in army, and that's why emergency situation was created. This was considered the emergency situation. So under the leadership of General Dyer, the martial law it was imposed in 1919 in Amritsar. Right, students? So due to this thing, Jallianwala Bagh massacre it was happened. So let's think about what was Jallianwala Bagh massacre. It is very most important incident because board perspective के आधार पे आपको चाहे 1 marks question मिले, 3 marks मिले या 5 marks मिले, तो आपको question मिलता है. So first of all, let's take a look on the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So my dear student, on 13 April 1919, a large crowd gathered in the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. Right, students? Now some of them, then this large crowd, इनमें से कुछ जो व्यक्ति थे, they came for the protest, while maximum people they came to attend the annual Baisakhi Mela. They belong to the rural areas from the nearby the Amritsar, and even they did not know about any martial law. अब उनमें से एक ग्रुप तो प्रोटेस्ट करने के लिए आया था, but maximum जो people थे, they came from the rural areas. And they wanted to just only attend annual Baisakhi Mela. Even they did not know about any martial law. उन्हें martial law का पता ही नहीं था कि impose किया गया है. इसीलिए वो क्या करते हैं, वो वहां पर आते हैं. Now General Dyer, he entered that particular area. There was just only one entrance, so he blocked that particular entrance and open fire was there. Means लगातार गोलियां चलती रहती है. And due to that open fire, hundreds of the people they were killed. Hundreds of the people they were killed. जब तक उनकी गोलियां ना खत्म हो गई तब तक उन्होंने लगातार वहां पर फायरिंग की जहां पर हजारों की संख्या में व्यक्ति मारे गए. Now my dear student, 13 April it was the day of the Baisakhi. It was the day of Baisakhi, and on 13 April 1919 in Jallianwala Bagh a large crowd it was gathered, but maximum people they did not know about any martial law. Just only they came there to attend the annual Baisakhi Mela. General Dyer, because the leader of the martial law, he was General Dyer. So General Dyer, he entered in that area and blocked the particular entrance and open fire was there. So due to this thing, hundreds of the people, they were killed there. When the news of this incident, it was spread all over the area, so strikes were there, even clashes with the police also. Even the people they started to clash with police, they also start to attack on government building also. तो इस तरीके से हर जगह पर हाहाकार मचने लगी। अब जिस वक्त इस प्रकार के क्लासेस होते हैं तो गवर्नमेंट जो होती है वो बड़े ब्रूटल मैनर से रिस्पॉन्ड करती है। हमेशा ध्यान रखना, जब कभी भी इस पूरे चैप्टर में कभी भी कोई प्रोटेस्ट होगा तो स्ट्राइक होगा, इवन जो क्लैशेस होंगे विद पुलिस, इवन पीपल अटैक ऑन द गवर्नमेंट बिल्डिंग। Whenever this situation became aggressive, the government responded the situation in a very brutal manner and by humiliate the political people, means all the protesters, and terrorizing the people. लोगों को डराते हैं। Even sometimes सत्याग्रही were forced to rub their nose, crawl in street. This was the situation created at that time. इस प्रकार की सिचुएशन भी क्रिएट की गई थी। राइट स्टूडेंट्स, अब यहाँ पर जनरल डायर जो होता है, जनरल डायर यहाँ पर एक ओपन स्टेटमेंट देता है। The statement is that he had done this thing, whatever he did in Jallianwala Bagh. He said that he did this thing just only to create the terror in the mind of the people. Jallianwala Bagh massacre होने के बाद General Dyer gave a statement, and under this statement he admitted that he did so by intensely so that a terror can be created in the mind of the people. तो आपके सामने ये स्टेटमेंट आ सकती है कि जनरल, ये स्टेटमेंट किसने लिखी थी कि he wanted to create a terror in the, you can say that, in the mind of the people. The statement was given by General Dyer after the incident of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and this was done on 13 April 1919. This was done on 13 April 1919, where hundreds of the peoples, they were killed there. And due to this situation, strikes were there. Even people attacked on the police station, and they started to attack on the government buildings. That's why situation became so much aggressive. So government responded toward this situation in a very brutal manner, in which they humiliated all the people, and even they terrorized people also. So this was the situation when Jallianwala Bagh massacre incident happened. Right, students? These were the most important question for you. Now things became violent. Now things जो थी, they became violent. So Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement. तो महात्मा गांधी जो है वो इस मूवमेंट को बंद कर देते हैं, बिकॉज महात्मा गांधी फेवर ट्रुथ एंड नॉन वायलेंस। महात्मा गांधी हमेशा क्या कहते हैं कि उन्हें ट्रुथ की रिक्वायरमेंट है और नॉन वायलेंस की रिक्वायरमेंट है। सो दैट्स व्हाई व्हेन द थिंग्स बिकेम वायलेंट, सो महात्मा गांधी कॉल्ड ऑफ दिस मूवमेंट। So in this way, the movement, it means Rolex Act movement, it was called off. Right, friends? Now let's think about little fact about Rolex Satyagraha. After the if you think about Rolex Act, this Satyagraha, it was limited only in towns and cities. Maximum rural area, it did not participate in it. उसने इसमें participate नहीं किया था. It was just only limited only in towns and cities. So that's why the limited effect was were there of the Rolex Act. Right, students? So that's why Mahatma Gandhi wanted a broad movement in which maximum people participated. But my dear student, if we think about at that situation, there were many people who belong to different culture, who belong to different, you can say, religion also. So that's why Mahatma Gandhi knew about it, that it was possible only when Hindu and Muslim, they came together. जिस वक्त वो दोनों इकट्ठा हो जाएंगे, then a broad movement can be started. Rolex Satyagraha, it was just only limited in towns and cities. Mahatma Gandhi wanted Swaraj, but this Swaraj would come after a broad movement. एक बड़ी movement चलाने के बाद start हो सकते हैं. But this broad movement can be possible when Hindu and Muslim came together. जब हिंदू और मुस्लिम इकट्ठा मिलकर साथ करेंगे, एक तरीके से प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे, then broad movement can be started. उस वक्त ब्रॉड मूवमेंट स्टार्ट हो सकती थी। बट डियर स्टूडेंट, इन 1906, सबसे पहले थोड़ा सा 1857 की बात कर लेते हैं। 1857 मैक्सिमम पीपल पार्टिसिपेटेड इन इट, दैट्स व्हाई इट वाज द फर्स्ट इंडिपेंडेंस मूवमेंट। इट डजंट मैटर कि वो फेल हो गया था, हम उसके बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे। ना सेकंड मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट थिंग that British government knew about it. This was done just only due to the unity of the Hindu and Muslim. That's why they started that divide and rule policy, जिसकी वजह से हिंदू और मुस्लिम जो थे वो आपस में अलग हो चुके थे। हिंदू और मुस्लिम जो थे वो आपस में अलग हो चुके थे। एंड इन 1906 Muslim League, a Muslim political party, it was established because they saw Congress as a Hindu महासभा। वो कांग्रेस को एक हिंदू महासभा के रूप में जाने लगे, इसलिए 1906 में उन्होंने मुस्लिम लीग की स्थापना की, जिसकी वजह से आपस में क्लैशेज होते रहे और जो गैप था हिंदू और मुस्लिम का, इट बिकेम वाइड, वो वाइड हो चुका था। ठीक है, एंड वी आर डिस्कसिंग एट द टाइम ऑफ द 1919, हम 1919 की बात कर रहे हैं। So that's why they wanted that there must be a broad movement, but this broad movement can be possible just only when Hindu and Muslim they came together. जब वो इकट्ठा हो जाए तब मूवमेंट हो सकती थी। ठीक है, सो महात्मा गांधी wanted this type, wanted a chance. महात्मा गांधी को केवल एक चांस चाहिए था so that वो हिंदू और मुस्लिम को इकट्ठा कर सके। Right friends? Now next question, it is Khilafat movement. And this Khilafat movement gave the chance to gave the opportunity to Mahatma Gandhi so that he became unite Hindu and Muslim. अब ये सिचुएशन जो होती है, ये खिलाफत मूवमेंट जो होती है, वो महात्मा गांधी को अपॉर्चुनिटी प्रोवाइड कर देती है कि वो हिंदू और मुस्लिम को इकट्ठा कर सके। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेट्स टेक अ लुक अबाउट खिलाफत मूवमेंट, कि खिलाफत मूवमेंट होती क्या है। Now, dear student, let's come to the First World War situation. In the First World War, you have studied in 9th standard, and the third chapter of Hitler, I think so. In the First World War, Ottoman Turkey, it was defeated. You know it. If we think about Ottoman Empire and Ottoman Turkey, if we think about this thing, it was defeated in the First World War. And First World War के अंदर जब वर्सले की ट्रीटी हुई थी, it was a harsh treaty and a humiliating treaty. सभी को पता है ये बात, ठीक है, सभी को डीमिलिटराइज कर दिया गया, सभी की पावर छीन ली गई थी, ये सिचुएशन कुछ ऐसी थी। So rumors they were spread all over the world that a harsh treaty would be imposed on the Khalifa. A harsh treaty would be imposed on Khalifa, and this Khalifa was the emperor of the Ottoman Turkey. This Khalifa was the emperor of the Turkey, and if we think about Khalifa, he was the spiritual head of the Muslim community all over the world. Ottoman Empire का जो emperor है, जिसे हम खलीफा कहते हैं, पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर जो मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी होती है ना, उनका वो स्पिरिचुअल हेड माना जाता है। उनका वो क्या माना जाता है? स्पिरिचुअल हेड माना जाता है। That's why the Muslim people, they wanted to defend the power of the Khalifa, so they started to agitate अगेंस्ट ब्रिटिशर्स। इसलिए उन्होंने क्या किया, ब्रिटिशर्स के खिलाफ एजिटेट करना शुरू कर दिया, प्रोटेस्ट करना शुरू कर दिया। सो ड्यू टू दिस थिंग, अ खिलाफत कमेटी इन 1919 इन बॉम्बे था उस टाइम में, तो इन बॉम्बे इन 1919 अ खिलाफत कमेटी इट वाज फॉर्म। व्हाई इट वाज फॉर्म? टू डिफेंड द पावर ऑफ खलीफा। एंड दिस कमेटी वाज, या आप कह सकते हैं, दिस कमेटी इट वाज फॉर्म बाय टू अली ब्रदर्स। The first one is Muhammad Ali and second one is the Shaukat Ali. Right friends? तो अब खिलाफत मूवमेंट करते हैं, मींस उन्हें खिलाफत करनी है ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट की। So that's why in 1919 in Bombay, a Khilafat committee it was formed to defend the power of the Khalifa by two Ali brothers, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. अब ये मोहम्मद अली और शौकत अली क्या करते हैं, वो महात्मा गांधी से इस मूवमेंट के लिए हेल्प लेने के लिए जाते हैं। So they both went to meet Mahatma Gandhi so that महात्मा गांधी would help them, ताकि महात्मा गांधी उनकी हेल्प कर सके। अब महात्मा गांधी ने क्या किया, he took it an opportunity to bring Hindu and Muslim together, ताकि हिंदू और मुस्लिम इकट्ठा कर सके। महात्मा गांधी ने उसे अपॉर्चुनिटी के रूप में लिया, एंड महात्मा गांधी एग्रीड विद दिस मूवमेंट, कि महात्मा गांधी ने एग्री कर दिया कि he would help them in this movement। ठीक है, तो उस तरीके से कलकत्ता के अंदर सितंबर 1920 में एक कांग्रेस सेशन होता है। सितंबर के अंदर कोलकाता में एक 1920 के अंदर एक सेशन होता है। बोर्ड पर्सपेक्टिव के अंदर ये आपका मैप क्वेश्चन बनेगा कि सितंबर 1920 के अंदर कांग्रेस सेशन कहां पर होता है। It was done in Calcutta, right students? तो कलकत्ता के अंदर in 1920, in September 1920, Congress passed a regulation to start non-cooperation movement in the support of the Khilafat movement and Swaraj. अब यहाँ पर कांग्रेस के अंदर कलकत्ता सेशन के अंदर महात्मा गांधी क्या करते हैं, महात्मा गांधी डिसाइड करते हैं, आप कह सकते हैं कांग्रेस में डिसाइड किया जाता है कि अब वो नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट स्टार्ट करेंगे, जिसके अंदर वो क्या करेंगे, खिलाफत मूवमेंट को सपोर्ट करेंगे और स्वराज को प्राप्त करने की बात करेंगे, क्योंकि उनको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल चुकी है कि हिंदू और मुसलमान यहाँ पर इकट्ठा होकर प्रोटेस्ट करेंगे, ठीक है। सो सितंबर 1920 के अंदर कलकत्ता सेशन के अंदर ये बात डिसाइड कर ली जाती है, ठीक है स्टूडेंट्स। Now we have one most important question, why non-cooperation movement? Means non-cooperation movement को ही follow क्यों किया? Why non-cooperation movement? So dear student, Mahatma Gandhi said that British rule, it was established in India just only due to the cooperation of India. If Indian people refuse to cooperate, then British rule will end within 1 year. This statement was given by Mahatma Gandhi. That British rule, it was established in India just only due to the cooperation of the Indian. If Indian refuse to cooperate them, then British rule will end within a year. So that's why he wanted to start non-cooperation movement. And by this non-cooperation movement, India would become independent. Why? If India refuse to cooperate Britishers, British rule will end within 1 year, then India would become independent simply. Means Swaraj would come automatically. Right, friends? So that's why Mahatma Gandhi decided to start non-cooperation movement. इसलिए महात्मा गांधी ने non-cooperation movement को start करना चाहा. Right, friends? Now we will discuss later on this the different stages of the non-cooperation movement in the next video lecture. I hope this concept is clear to all of you. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.